Hello, everybody. We are here to deliver another exciting episode of Wake Up Nigeria.
Now, it's your favorite breakfast show. And of course, right now is the time to wake up and get motivated. We're here to kind of help you take on the new day, even though it's still a holiday.
Yeah.
Still a holiday.
But we're working just for you.
Yes, indeed.
On a holiday like this.
And we're going to be sassy about it. We're going to have some fun.
So you're going to experience all the goodness that we've got for you this Monday morning, a public holiday, still marking the Muslim holiday.
Of course.
The Eid, as we like to call it. My name is Yomi Ope.
And I'm Titi Layo Oyinson. Now, remember, you can be part of the show throughout the show, actually. And it's going to be really easy because you can catch us on all our platforms. It's all about our website. That's tvcontinental.tv right now. Everybody's on our website. You should be there too. Hit us up on Facebook as well at TVC Connect. For comments, make sure you use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria.
All right. Also, when you use the hashtag, make sure you tell us what you've been up to this long holiday and what's going on with you.
You know, it's all about the football, though. You know.
Yeah,
Everybody's
it's
still
really been about the football, but lots of stuff happening as well. We had something last night. We're going to talk about that in a little while.
Speaking of football, we're kicking off.
Yeah, we're kicking off with a trip back in time to bring you some insights into some events that took place on this day in history.
Oh, it's actually this week in history now.
Yeah, well,
you know, we're doing the whole week. It was by popular demand.
Yeah.
And well, it's also Motivation Monday. We will be giving you some tips on speaking like a champion that you are. Really important to speak yourself up. Speak up a good game. And we have some updates for you from Russia, the Russia World Cup that's happening in Russia right now, which is expectedly the rave of the moment.
Yeah. And true to our Monday tradition here, we'll be bringing you, okay, that's still on the football updates.
Of course.
World Cup updates, and we're going to have that later on the show.
When it comes to tips.
Yeah, tips on business, we're going to be showing you how to grow your business while staying ethical, which is really, really important.
That's something that is very, very hard to do in many cases, especially in a place like Nigeria.
Yeah, that's really true because you're trying to grow your business, you're trying to make those moves, and every step of the way, somebody's asking you for something. So what are you going to do?
Everyone is asking you for kickbacks, my commission, tips,
finder's fee.
Honestly, sometimes it just drives you nuts.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like when it comes to business, you have no choice but to compromise.
We also have a musical performance coming up from Victor Swaggies.
I can't sleep without you. Since you are on my mind.
We'll also be having a chat with Nigerian producer and actress Lilian Ama-Aluko.
It's okay. I'm not in a hurry and I'm not complaining.
I know, but your mom and everybody else is. I thought I'd be lucky this time. It was already 10 days late.
With all this that we've got packaged for you.
Did you see a black bearded RMD?
Yeah.
From way back.
From way back. That's a classic RMD.
Interesting stuff.
But that scene was all about Lillian, though. Lillian, I remember, okay, so in my acting days.
Which was pretty short, but yeah.
Very,
tell
very
us about
short.
It.
Wow. Too short.
Yummy.
Too short for, in fact, for it to be called acting at all, really. She acted as my mother in a show called Silver Lining. And she was always giving me tips, always giving me advice on how to say it, how to project my voice and everything.
So when did you abandon acting, though?
Oh, I don't know. That industry just...
tough.
It's
tough.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
And there's just so many people, well, that want to be stars. And if you can't put 110% into something, you know what? Just go back to the thing you know you can do. Okay,
so last night we had some of the guys in the entertainment department, and you were there.
Yeah.
At a special event, the Nigeria premiere of Ocean's 8.
Yeah, Ocean's 8, the movie, amazing movie. It's all about girl power.
Yeah.
And we all got glammed up, and the theme was Met Gala. And in fact,
Really?
the dresses, yes.
Man,
the
those
theme
dresses
was
last
Met
night.
Gala.
Like,
You should go check out
just use the
I
hashtag
would like to
Oceans
see
8,
that.
Oceans 8, take your aid. You'll be amazed at the
Actually, I
things
think
you see.
I'm going to ask people to go and like my picture because I need some likes right now.
No, that dress wasn't bad, man.
Really? You like
Shine,
it?
shine with diamonds.
Yes,
and
I had
stuff
some
like that,
very
yeah.
shiny.
With a tiara.
I went all out.
Okay.
But
That's
it was worthwhile and it was really fun as well.
Yeah.
It was really fun. You
It
should
was
have
nice.
been there, MM.
Well, I wasn't told about the event. Besides, I'm still recovering. I'm still in
Yeah.
recovery mode, so
Okay.
yeah.
Of
Yeah,
course.
so throughout last week, you were out.
Been out. And then he had this strange illness I've never had before, tonsillitis, where you have like a swollen throat. So I was
Yeah.
unable to eat for 3 days, just taking
So
fluids.
how
It
did
was
you treat it?
terrible.
Were you using like hot water?
Yeah, I took, well, first of all, I went to the doctor.
Yeah.
Very important. You need to go see a doctor when you're ill. Don't do over-the-counter drugs or that stuff. Just go see a doctor.
Oh,
It
well,
helps.
but it's great to have you back, MM.
Thank you.
We missed you. Alrighty, then now we have to go over to the news.
Good morning, happy holiday, and thanks for joining us on the news. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. At least 31 persons have been killed and 48 injured after 2 suicide bombers attacked Damboa town in Borno State. The explosions were followed by rockets fired from outside the town. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but it bore the hallmark of Boko Haram. It comes hours after Chief of Army Staff Tukur Buratai urged displaced residents to return home because it was safe. Elsewhere, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has charged officers and men to engage in the war on terror and banditry to ensure strict professionalism. Abubakar's representative, Air Vice Marshal Idi Lubo, was with airmen of Operation Alafia Dole at the Air Force Base in Yola, Adamawa State, to mark Eid al-Fitr. He assured them the Air Chief was satisfied with the commitment and urged them to sustain the tempo. At least 30 persons have been killed following a heavy windstorm in Bauchi metropolis and its environs. Among places mostly affected include Tiun, Tundun Samanu, Railway and Kadanha. The subsequent rainfall, which lasted several hours, forced Muslims celebrating Eid al-Fitr to return home for safety. Shops, domestic animals and businesses were affected in most towns. Now, former chairman of the People's Democratic Party Caretaker Committee, Ahmed McCarthy, has declared his intention to contest the presidential ticket of the party in 2019. The former Kaduna governor says he has consulted with stakeholders in the party and has informed them of his ambition. He says the consultations have been positive and his experience in the public and private sectors make him well suited to lead the country. Leaders of the Anambra State Town Unions have adopted the resolutions of the May the 24th Ohanese Indigo Summit. The summit say marginalization and over-dependence on the central government will keep Nigeria at the lowest ebb of underdevelopment. They resolved that restructuring is the solution to incessant agitation, insecurity, as well as civil unrest in the country. And that's the news of these hour. Let's keep you up to date with what to expect as regards weather today.
All right, it's time to look at the papers this morning, starting with The Punch and the headline, APC Convention, NWC meets to ratify delegates list on Tuesday. Olubado bars masqueraders from visiting Ibadan Kings. Eagles coach questions Croatia penalty against as Mikel Etebo lament defeat. Boko Haram attacks Damboa, kills 31, injures 48. Wow. Domestic airlines replacing expatriate pilots with Nigerians. And finally, senators fault Babachir Lawal's bias probe claim, all on the cover of The Punch.
On the cover of the Guardian newspaper, it says, fresh controversy trails 400 billion naira shortfall in aviation revenue. Stakeholders demand probe of estimates, and they say, we stand by our figures, NCAA say. We also have here, fresh strike looms as Yohesu demands April-May salaries. Don't toy with amnesty scheme, Niger Delta leaders urge Buhari. Serap sues Fashola over spending on power sector. Then finally, Sanusi warns politicians on tension over 2019 elections. That's what we have on the cover of The Guardian.
All right, up next is the Vanguard and the headline, Killings, Benue, Taraba, Ekiti, Afenifere, Ohaneze, others take on defense headquarters. You're blaming victims instead of the aggressors, says Benue government and Afenifere. It's an attempt to clamp down on politicians, says Fayoshe, and a couple of other writers there. Buhari signs budget tomorrow to avoid government shutdown. Gas pipeline rupture disrupts supply to 6 power plants as generation drops by over 1,000 megawatts. Rivers local government polls, PDP wins all 23 chairmanship seats. Amazing. And 2019 presidency, I'll seek PDP nomination, says Makarfi, all on the cover of the Vanguard.
On the cover of the Nation newspaper, we have APC governors move to prevent convention crisis. It says here, consensus list likely. It also says there's World Cup special coverage, fixtures, results, analysis, and more inside. It also says on 2019, Makarfi joins race for PDP presidential ticket. How we plan to bring Abiola out of jail, it says here. Page 8 tells us more. It says 32 killed in Borno, twin suicide attacks. And finally, how Buhari is changing Nigeria by minister. That's what we have on the cover of The Nation. All
right. Up next is the Nigerian Tribune with the headline, Crisis of Power, Sharing Hits NPDP. As presidential ambition splits aspirants, NPDP leaders delay exit date from APC. Makarfi joins presidential race. No masquerade dance for Ibadan High Chief, says Olubadan. And 10 feared killed in Bauchi rainstorm. APC convention, Oshibajo emerges lead negotiator in talks with factional excos. And 32 killed, 84 injured as suicide bombers strike in Borno. Wow, sad. And Kano underage voters, INEC must make probe report public now, Southern Middle Belt leaders say. All on the cover of the Nigerian Tribune.
I'm taking the cover of Complete Sports here. It says, Mikel Obi says Eagles are down, but not out. Says we'll have to improve as a team. Etebo says all hope is not lost. Moses says Eagles will bounce back. Now the Icelandic coach says the Eagles are under pressure. Says they are ready to spring more surprises. It also says here, Eagles set to get a $20,000 winning bonus as Dalong adds additional $5,000 for each player. Hopefully that'll spur them on just a bit more. And then finally, Raw says, our destiny still in our hands. Explains Super Eagles' defeat to Croatia, tactics, and Iwobi's substitution. Yeah, that was a source of controversy, actually.
Yeah, it was.
All right, that's what we have on the cover of Complete Sports.
All right, up next is the New Telegraph with the headline, Tragedy in Borno, Bayelsa. Female Boko Haram bombers kill 32, injure 48. Wow. 15 robbers rape corps member in Bayelsa. Wow, it's sad. 4 die, 25 injured in Ogun. Auto crashes, and naval rating stabs woman to death. Lots of tragedies there. And NJC drags governors to Supreme Court over power to discipline judges. 6 power stations shut, Generation drops by over 1,000 megawatts. TCN begins nationwide load shedding to avert grid collapse. And court jails Masob leader Owazurike for contempt. EFCC reopens probe of 21.7 billion naira IPP project. 2019, why PDP will defeat Buhari by Sule Lamido. Southern Middle Belt leaders allege registration of mercenary voters. You can find all these stories in the New Telegraph.
It's quite a packed cover there, if you ask me.
All the papers are packed with loads of news, especially the tragedy that happened in Borno yesterday. Really, really bad. 32 people killed. It's really sad. And
hopefully we'll be able to get to the bottom of this and figure out a solution. But, well, we have to move along with the show. And, well, one thing that a lot of people look forward to on Wake Up Nigeria is the fitness.
Yeah.
I've actually received tweets, messages, you know, talking about different routines, asking to replay some clips and everything.
Yeah.
But just note that everything is right there on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube.
And you can check out the old videos as well of some of our fitness routines.
Make sure you subscribe.
All right, so we should go to the garden now. I think we're ready. Hey, guys.
Yeah, we're here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the fitness segment of your favorite show on TV, Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Benjamin, and today we are doing a total body workout. So, let's go. Let's start with stretching exercises first. So guys, we are going this way. Down. Stretch it fully down, 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 go down, go down, go down, go down. Take it up gradually, take it up gradually, take it up gradually. Up to the right side. Follow me to the right side. That's it, that's it. Hold for 10 to 15 seconds. And up. Hook to the other side. Hold 10 up to 10 seconds. Then back. Move it to the right again. And to the left. And stop. So the next move, please. Let's stretch the left. As far as you can. And move to the other side. So let's stretch the shoulders. Go this way and the other way. Alright. We're starting with the static run. The static run. The static run, we're going this way. Alright guys, are you ready? Let's go. 1, 2, go. Yeah. And stop. So we're going this way. The next move, we're going this way. Are you ready? Alright, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Now we're doing the jump squats. The jump squats, we're going this way. That's it. So guys, are you ready? Alright, let's go. 1, 2, go. Now our next move is the shuffle squat. Shuffle squat. We're going this way. That's it. Are we ready to go? Alright, let's go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Now the last move for the lower part of the body is the split lunge. The lower part of the body, the last move for that is the split lunge. So the split lunge, we're going this way. Guys, are we ready? Right, let's go. 1, 2, go. Now for the upper body exercises, how blue you guys are. It's getting more intense. It's getting more intense. And I believe that if you are doing it correctly, it's sure to challenge you. So we're moving to the upper body exercises. So we do we start with stepping with the basic push-up. The basic push-up, going this way. So in the plank position, you lower your chest so 50 inches away from the ground. And you take it off. Are we ready? Yeah. Right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's take some rest. Next move we're going to be doing is the diamond push-up. So the diamond push-up, we place the difference is the hand placement. So you place your hand this way. So that works more on your triceps. Alright. So I'm ready to go. Right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it for the diamond push-up. So the next move we're going to be doing are the core exercises. So the core exercises, we'll do the seated knee torque. Guys, let's go right away. We don't have enough time, so let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the last move for the core exercises is the plank. So go this way. And you hold that for 30 seconds to 1 minute, as much as you can go in. That's it. So viewers, if you did this correctly, surely it will challenge your body. So that's the most we have for this segment. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back. It's still Wake Up Nigeria. Now, personal courage sometimes impacts how one is perceived, by others. And of course, it's an integral part of this is speaking, how one addresses others, how one talks about him or herself. Also, forming a basis for others to form an opinion about you. Now, this morning we have the champ himself, Abiola Champ Salami, here to shed a lot more light on this. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
Okay, so speaking like a champion. It feels like a lot of people tend to cower away or shy away from speaking publicly, talk less of speaking like they own the place. So how do you even begin to start learning? You know, this is something that must be a long process. How does it start? Okay,
it's important to know that what accounts for success in communication, 3 V's, and I like to do that so that people can always remember. Okay. 3 V's: vocal, visual, and verbal. Now, it is said that from research, it is said that only 7% of the words that we speak account for effective communication. The other 93% is vocal and visual. So visual is 55%, vocal is 38%. Now, let me break it down. Verbal, the words that we speak. Vocal, the way we sound. Visual, what people see. when we're talking. It is said that a picture speaks more than 1,000 words. And so with that understanding to communicate, then you realize that as much as it's important to pay attention to the things that we say, it's also much more important is to pay attention to how we sound and then what people see, you know, when we talk. And that is very critical. And so it is said that talk is cheap because of the 7%, but the way you look as well. You want to be sure that whatever you are saying, you look the part. You don't only talk the part, you look the part, you behave the part, and you speak the part.
Okay, so are you saying that I could smile and say, you don't look very nice today, and it still sounds positive?
Well, it depends on your intention, right? You're probably trying to let the person know that there's something the person can do better. Now, you're not fighting with the individual.
Yes.
The same you can frown and say, you don't look nice today. No.
Okay, that's different.
That's different. What you're saying to that individual is you're about to bring out your gloves to fight. Not anything positive, but when you smile, say, you don't really look nice today. Chances are the next thing you want to say is to recommend to the individual what the person could do better. Okay. And that's the place of feedback. You know, some people do feedback words, not feedback. And feedback is always you commend the person on something the person is doing well, then you recommend what your idea, what the person can do better, then you commend the person. So CRC, you know, commend, recommend.
I feel like you have acronyms for everything. Let me take you back now to the vocal, verbal, and visual. Okay, so right now we talked about, we started by saying speak like a champion. So in other words, what I wear speaks as well.
Sure.
What I say obviously is speaking, but what I wear and how I look also seems to be speaking the right messages. So what messages am I supposed to be sending exactly? Okay.
It is said that dress the way you want to be addressed. And you cannot dress like a suspect and expect to be treated like a prospect. That is very important. Wow. So in whatever you do, maybe you're a business person, for example, you want to be sure that how you look matches the product or the service that you're selling. Okay. Now, you also want to be sure that how you look matches whatever you want to say. Maybe you want to, so you've been invited to a school, for example, a university, for example, to speak. I mean, if I'm invited to a university to speak, I won't be dressed like this.
Okay.
You know,
you dress how?
Yeah. So what I will do is you will see my pair of jeans, right, and the top, and of course, all of us will be jumping up together, whatever it is that I'm saying.
Because of the people you're addressing.
Because of the people. So it is not just about the words that I speak, it is also the things that they see. Because they need to match what they see with what they hear. That is actually communication. So there's no dissonance. That's actually communication. So dress the way you want to be addressed. And you know, it is said that what you are doing is so loud that I cannot hear what you are saying. You know, what you're doing is so loud. How you look is so loud that I cannot hear what you're saying. So what we want to always do is to look like what we're saying, look like what we are selling, look like what we're doing at every point in time.
Okay, so let me just give a very basic scenario. Maybe there's an office meeting coming up. You've been told to give a presentation, a very simple PowerPoint presentation. And these presentations happen every week, but for the first time they ask you to do it. What's the first thing you should think about? Okay,
it's productive preparation. Okay. Is you need to prepare well. It is said that proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? So,
okay, I get it. Go ahead.
So it's important to have productive preparation. While preparing, minimize anticipation. Okay. Because some people die before death comes. So before the presentation, you know, you may be thinking, oh, what will my MD say? What will people say? How will I dress? How will I look? Will I get my words right? Will I? And then killing your potential to perform well. Minimize your anticipation. Then next, normalize nervousness. Nervousness is real and true. Almost everybody's nervous. In fact, the best of speakers that you know, they are nervous. The only thing is they've learned how to manage it properly. Okay. So even when nervousness comes, know that it is normal. Know that you continue to perform. It is said that courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to continue in spite of the fear. So while you are feeling nervous, continue your presentation. And one of the things that can help you to get through is just master your opening. The first things that you need to say. So once you say that,
then you feel better.
Then you feel better. Then you continue. And along the line, even when you're struggling and struggling and struggling, there's something called the power of the pause. At some point in time, you can keep quiet.
Wow. But that keeping quiet, that pause, the pregnant pause, sometimes can make the people you're speaking to a little anxious as well, you know. Anxious probably in suspense, but maybe not so much, depending on the type of crowd you're addressing.
Now, what a pause would do, like you said, it will make them anxious. They're wondering, okay, bring it.
Okay.
Like bring it, and of course you have your next point because you've prepared very well. You just throw it in, you know, almost immediately. Because the thing is, it's important to know that it is said that public speaking, that after the fear of death, the fear of public speaking is the next thing people fear the most in the world.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so the individual that can have a one-on-one conversation within friends, an intelligent conversation among friends, once the person needs to stand in front of a people, everything the person knows kind of could disappear. But when you master the art of public speaking, some of the simple tips that we're sharing, it will help you to navigate and get through.
All right, so there's a guy right now preparing for a presentation tomorrow morning. What's your 3-step pieces of advice for him?
Okay, number 1, prepare, know your content. Number 2, present to yourself. Right, you have a mirror in your bathroom or wherever, present to yourself. Number 3, when you wake up tomorrow morning, know it's a beautiful day and you will knock yourself out because you have a great time. Okay,
all right then. I would love to hear some stories of people that you've worked with before. Have there been some people that were really, really, really bad at public speaking who have, you know, had a turnaround? Okay, so I remember the case of a lady who, while we were having a training, and anytime I tell her to stand up and introduce herself, beautiful lady, intelligent lady, smart, Harvard graduate, by the way, yes, no, and so whenever she stands up to introduce herself, she's always covering her face, you know, to talk. Covering her face like this? Because of people, I mean, there are other people there, you know, and it's shyness, right? And so after working with her for a while, she gives fantastic, absolutely fantastic presentation. And why? Because she had to understand and learn the art of public speaking. Now, speaking is not the same as education. You can have the best of education. The proof of how educated you are is your ability to convey your intelligence to people, right? So there are some very, in a sense, unintelligent people who could practice a script and deliver it. I mean, and that's so sad, you know. That's really sad because every now and then you see some people, you know, who don't have depth of content, but just because they have that presentation skill, so they bring it out. But what makes you a champion, really? It's not just that you know how to present without having depth. It's that you have depth, right? And you have the skill to present as well. Very important, very key. Those two things are key. So there's one other thing I've noted with quite a few people I've seen who stand up to speak. Is it that they all have a special vocal coach that teaches them how to project or something? I don't know whether it's breathing, I don't know whether it's maybe a voice they grew up with, but how is it that you sound this way? For instance, the way you speak now. How did you learn this? Okay, remember in the beginning of this conversation, we talked about verbal, vocal, and verbal. Vocal, the way that you sound. It is important for everybody to go through training on how to speak. Okay. Verbal, yes, but vocal as well, the way you sound. So you may not have a baritone voice, right? You may not have that kind of voice. But the moment you continue to practice and to learn and to be coached by the right people, you start to develop your own unique style of presentation such that you can always gain the attention of people and not just gain the attention, retain the attention of people as well. Because gaining is not as important as retaining, you know, and it is said that our attention span is just about 30 seconds. Wow. You know, and so you want to gain the attention and you want to retain the attention. And one of the powerful things that everybody needs to know how to do is what I call the power of a smile, even when you are giving a presentation. Okay, so now, you just smiled now. No, you just smiled now. That's what you just did now. Because you told me to. You mentioned smile and I just started smiling. You know. And on that note, we're going to have to wrap it up. But I have a feeling I'm going to be speaking more like a champion. Oh, come on, come on. No, but really, thank you so much to Abiola Champ Salami for coming to the studio one more time. Can't wait to continue this conversation online. You can always hit us up on our social media and tell us, you know, what you've learned about this one with the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria. We have to go on a quick break right now. When we return, it's all about our history. Don't go ahead.
All right, you know how we do every week. We bring you the week in history, and we're going to be starting with the year 2000.
Yes, in the year 2000, the 100th U.S. Golf Open, Tiger Woods won his first ever U.S. Open with a record-setting 15 strokes over runners-up Ernie Els and Miguel Angel Jimenez. Now that means it was the most dominating performance and victory in any major championship ever. Look at that.
Different story, and not make the birdie putt as well. But 16.
In 1949, Meryl Streep was born. Now, she was born in New Jersey, and her movies, including The Devil Wears Prada, French Lieutenant's Woman, and Sophie's Choice, led her to be nominated for so many, many awards. In fact, nominated for a record 21 Academy Awards while winning 3.
In 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of cerulean gowns, and then I think it was Yves Saint Laurent, wasn't it, who showed cerulean military jackets. I think we need a jacket here. And then cerulean quickly showed up in the collections of 8 different designers. And then it filtered down through the department stores and then trickled on down into some...
An amazing actress there. And of course, on June 19th in 1862, slavery was outlawed in the U.S. territories. Abraham Lincoln outlined his Emancipation Proclamation. And of course, news of this document reached the South and Texas through General Gordon Granger. So this was a really significant time. Really, the first time it had ever been tried by any president before him.
And it worked because, you know, it spurred the Civil War, actually, the American Civil War. You know, the fact that, you know, the North wanted to abolish slavery and the South were like, no way, we're going to keep our slaves. And, you know,
it was like a race with the Underground Railroad and all that, heading, all the slaves running away from the South, heading towards the North to freedom.
Amazing, amazing. All right, this week in 2009, J.K. Rowling's 5th Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, was released and became the fastest selling book ever. Fans of the Harry Potter series had to wait for 3 years for the latest book. And although they were 3 years older than they were, they still just had to get it. And it was really, really amazing. Fastest selling book of all time.
Amazing, and the movie version of that was just incredible.
These are childhood-defining moments. All right, 1928 this week, American aviator Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, landing at Buryport in Wales. She became a source of inspiration for thousands of female pilots all over the world.
What's interesting about her was that she also went missing. Now, Jaws, the movie premiere thriller of Steven Spielberg's, was about this great white shark that was terrorizing a summer resort town and is regarded as one of the greatest films of all time.
Everybody says, huh? What? You yelled shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July. That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons of them.
Hurry up, he's coming straight for us. Don't screw it up now. Don't wait for me. Now! Shoot! What's the deal? Give him room! I can't, he's trying to run! Oh! Quick! I can't hold it! Hurry! Tony!
None of man's fantasies of evil can compare with the reality of Jaws.
That was my first horror movie.
Jaws, the movie. All right, this week in 1934, the work on the first prototypes of the people's car, what became the Volkswagen Beetle, was started by Ferdinand Porsche, but it would take until 1936 before the first prototype was completed.
All right, so you know that particular vehicle actually was approved by Hitler.
It was, because it could go into the desert without needing water.
Yes.
So there was no radiator for the car.
And even till now, you still see some around. It's so amazing that such a vehicle was so sturdy and so strong that it could survive.
Amazing. And the 1 millionth Beetle was built in 1955. Today, with the car still being built in South America, production has exceeded 21.5 million units.
Amazing.
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 Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah.
And it was really popular in Nigeria as well. You know, we had the Volkswagen Nigeria somewhere in Apapa. And, you know.
Even till now, you still see some out and about. And they used to use it for driving school. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Driving school.
And you couldn't, if you wanted to go to driving school, you needed to learn how to move the gear with a Volkswagen.
Oh, goodness me.
I tried it once. It was that gear. Oh my goodness. Amazing.
But I guess that's what made it so strong.
Yeah, so it's really, really nice when you go back in history to catch up on
I was actually thinking about Meryl Streep and how powerful all her monologues are, and her being a source of inspiration for a lot of people, actors all over the world. I was also thinking a lot about Tiger Woods. And the fact that he won his first U.S. Open in the year 2000.
Speaking of Meryl Streep, you know, the first time, but the third time she won the Oscar, she wasn't surprised, you know, because she'd done this, you know, great roles and all of that. So when she took the Oscar and got up on the stage, she was like, not again. She was like, you guys, come on. This was too easy.
Oh,
you know?
Goodness me. Yeah. I really, really would love to meet her one day. You know, she's just one of those people you just want to take a selfie with.
She's already a legend, in her 60s.
Living legend.
Amazing.
All right, but we're going to be wrapping up. We have to take a break now. And when we come back, the second part of the show comes shortly.
A beautiful Monday morning to you all. This is Wake Up Nigeria.
Yes, it is. And it's the show specifically targeted at helping you start off the day on the right note. And of course, we're ready for the second leg of the show.
Second half.
Yes. We're talking sports terms these days.
Second half.
Second half.
It's about to kick off.
This sort of wrong impression about your intending partner.
Exactly.
You know, you want
Which is why you also dress decent.
Exactly.
Of course.
You know.
So,
I remember going to visiting my mother-in-law for the first time, and then I had to make sure that my mom even scrutinized my box to be sure that I wasn't taking anything.
Any mini skirts.
Any mini skirts.
Oh, wow.
That's true.
We could continue this conversation for a long while, but we have to wrap up and head over to the news. Nifemi is on standby.
Thank you, Titi. I mean, I think I'm jealous. My daughter can talk yet, so looking forward to her singing on Father's Day. Let's turn our attention to the news. At least 31 persons have been killed and 48 injured after two suicide bombers attacked Damboa town in Borno State. The explosions were followed by rockets fired from outside the town. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but it bore the hallmark of Boko Haram. It comes hours after Chief of Army Staff Tukur Buratai urged displaced residents to return home because it was safe. Elsewhere, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has charged officers and men engaged in the war on terror and banditry to ensure strict professionalism. Abubakar's representative, Air Vice Marshal Idi Lubo, was with airmen of Operation Lafia Dole at the Air Force Base in Yola, Adamawa State, to mark Eid al-Fitr. He assured them the Air Chief was satisfied with the commitment and urged them to sustain the tempo. Former chairman of the People's Democratic Party Caretaker Committee, Ahmed McCarthy, has declared his intention to contest the presidential ticket of the party in 2019. The former Kaduna governor says he has consulted with stakeholders in the party and has informed them of his ambition. He says the consultations have been positive and his experience in the public and private sectors make him well suited to lead the country. And that's the news these are. Moving on to the day's weather forecast.
We have a different kind of sports update for you today. It's going to be the FIFA World Cup analysis. I have here with me a sports analyst, Chinasia, who's going to be joining me this morning. Hey, so how's it going?
I'm all right, Yomi. Good
all
morning.
Right, so it's been a fun World Cup so far. Lots of surprises, but let's talk about Nigeria. What happened on what happened to us on Saturday?
Well, apparently, after watching the game, a lot of us were disappointed and everything. But I think we got our tactics wrong. You know, I felt we respected the Croatians too much. Of course, we all knew what to expect going into the game. The whole midfield, you know. Famous midfield of Croatians, Modric, Perisic, Rakitic, Kovacic, and all of them.
Exactly.
And I think we give them a lot more respect than they deserved. And because the Croatians we didn't really push them. They didn't need to get out of
their comfort zone. It was almost like,
it was so easy for them. And I think the reason that happened was because we didn't really have a force in the middle. You know, a creative force, somebody that could drive the team. Mikel was supposed to play that role, but I think he was a bit more contained. You know, so it seemed like we were playing all three defensive midfielders.
Everybody criticized Gernot Rohr's selections.
Yeah.
They were like, look, it shouldn't have been like this. You know, so do you think the criticisms were fair?
Yeah, kind of. If you're a sports lover or you're a football fan, you should you definitely see some things. And for example, one of our most creative outlets, Alex Iwobi, he was played on the left, and you wouldn't get much from him playing that position because somebody like that needs to play from the middle, you know, like directly behind the striker. And that's one thing. And there were some things we saw Gernot Rohr do during the friendlies where he played a formation 3-5-2. He was experimenting with it. A lot of teams have tried it in the past, you know, Conte, Mourinho, Arsene Wenger, and even as recently, Gareth Southgate, the England manager, and will see England play later today at the World Cup. You know, so for some reason, I felt maybe that would have given us a lot more bodies in the middle, and instead of isolating Igalo up front, would have had two strikers.
So we just saw the penalty now, and you know, it's one of the things. It was one of the most thorny areas, even on social media. People were upset. They were like, "Look, the referees are against African teams."
Well, my take on that is consistency.
But was it fair though? I mean, that penalty,
that's why I'm saying consistency here. You know, if you watch football 1 million times and you watch corner kicks and you watch those set pieces, things like that happen every time. So it's at the referee's discretion to call it a foul or something. So while I'm saying consistency here is, let it be very consistent. Let us know that if you touch a player, if you try and grapple the player in the process of taking the corner kick, it will be a penalty 100% of the time. You know, but because these players know that they can do it, they can get away with it, it's not really set in stone. So that's why sometimes they do it, and when they are called out for, you know, committing a foul, they're like, why? Because it's something that happens. So my own take is this: is that it should be consistent, so that the players know. Once you put your hand on the player, it's a penalty. You know, it's a penalty. It's plain and clear like that. So that's just where the consistency needs to be.
All right. So let's talk about Iceland going into into the game with Iceland. This is a must-win for Nigeria. Like, if we don't win that match, it's like we're going home.
Definitely.
You know. So what should we do with Iceland. We've seen them play with Argentina. They've drawn with Argentina, and it's a formidable team. You know, at least they understand what they're doing and why they're at the World Cup. What should we do?
I like what you said. They understand what they're doing and why they're at the World Cup. They know their strengths. You know, they played against Argentina a certain way because they knew that the Argentines were better than them. Yeah. You know, on a one-on-one basis and everything. And they decided to defend and try and hit the Argentines on the counter. They had a game plan and it worked for them. Or you could say the Argentines were a bit unlucky, scoring chances and all whatnot, but they have a game plan. And so the same thing. Well, against Nigeria, they might take a different approach. We don't know yet, but they might take a different approach because we're not Argentina, and they might want to be a little bit more expansive and try and play football because they certainly can. They have the players to do that. Gifford Sigurdsson and some other players who can actually pass the ball around. So I think we just need to be better than we were against Croatia.
Let's take what some of the players are saying about the Iceland team and also the Icelandics are saying about Nigeria.
Hyper after the game, adrenaline is still going high, and but that's just part of it. I think when you play a game like this, when it's high tempo and everything is under, it's hard to sort of shut everything down. If you stand by and idolize him, he's going to go past you and he's going to score. So and he's going to take advantage of that. So you can't really do that. So, it's just important to respect the guy and play your normal football.
It's a must-win game for Nigeria, and that makes it a little bit psychologically different. They have to win, and at least we know that. A draw would be an okay result, I think, for us. So then at least we have a chance in the last game, and we're in the game. At least we're in the game. So that was the plan, to be in the fight. But this group is going to be decided in the last minutes in the last game. It's going to be down to some margins, set piece.
You know, a couple of games that we've seen that, okay, these guys, you know, they look like, I mean, look at Mexico versus Germany yesterday.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing. I was watching with someone and he said that this is the World Cup. Teams didn't come to play. They came here very prepared.
Look, my goodness.
You know, Mexico had 14 shots on target by the first half and they scored with the 14 shots. It just shows you how determined they were. They were pressing high. They didn't fear the Germans. They came at them, and it was an amazing result. Yeah. Not just Mexico, we also saw Brazil and Switzerland. Brazil started well, scoring first, and Switzerland, well, they're known for the organization. Yeah. In qualifiers, they didn't lose a single match until the final match against Portugal. We took them via the playoffs to qualify. So we know they are solid. They have a very good core and everything. So yes, the World Cup is throwing up a lot of surprises.
You know, okay, so I mean that's why this is also instructive for Nigeria, because even some of the lesser-known teams, even Iceland that's in the World Cup for the first time, Peru and the rest of them, they know what they're doing. They know that this is the World Cup and it's different. What should we then do going into the second match, Nigeria? What should be our focus, really?
The gloves are off. The gloves are definitely off. There's no do-overs now. You have to go for it. So against Iceland, you just heard what the Icelandic guys are saying. Yeah. They know Nigerians need a win. So they're psychologically, it's a psychological warfare now. They're prepared. And they don't need to come out and attack because they know a draw will be good for them heading into the next game where they can beat Croatia because they've done it before. So we need to come out. But we need to be careful and disciplined because we know this Icelandic team can catch us on the break. The way they did against Argentina, they can catch us on the break. And if we play the way we played against Croatia, it's a no-no for me because these guys will be very comfortable just defending and sitting back, and we won't do anything. So we need to be more aggressive. We need to show from the start. You know, I think with the dispense of the fact of playing a lone striker, we need to play with two strikers, an expansive midfield. Show them that we mean business. You know. Right from the get-go.
All right. Thanks so much, Chinasa, for joining us this morning, man. Amazing, amazing. We're going to take a break now, and we wish the Super Eagles all the best. Some insightful discussions in business after this. Welcome back. Now, on this show, every Monday is another opportunity for us to treat you to important tips about getting the best of your business and finance. And so today, John Obidi is here with me to talk about upholding ethics in business. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you looking sharp.
Thank you.
Even this is a public holiday and everything. It's good, it's good.
So, always in character.
Yeah. So business ethics,
yes.
it's one of the biggest areas in business. But when you're operating in Nigeria, things are different. But tell us what business ethics is.
Okay, so business ethics, it refers to the code of conduct, the morals or principles that guide the way a business should operate in a given environment. So when you talk about business ethics, you're looking at how your business impacts other people and the environment that you operate in. So that's why business ethics are very important. And you cannot separate business ethics from the law regarding business. There's sometimes a thin line. And so sometimes there might be weakness on the part of law enforcement. And that's why ethics should be upheld in the individual businesses. A lot of businesses have their own business principles, their own guidelines that best reflect what their core values are and what their mission and vision is. So they don't really need law enforcement to always police and monitor what they do.
We'll talk about industry-specific ethics now, but let's even talk about business ethics in general, especially when you're running a business in Nigeria. As an entrepreneur, sometimes, look, the challenges are enormous. Apart from the fact that you have to run many things by yourself, you know, get things done, you know, pay rent, run your generator, and a number of other things. There are specific challenges to you even getting a business. And a lot of times you find that entrepreneurs have to compromise in order to get going. So how do we then deal in this kind of business environment?
Well, first of all, let me talk about a couple of the challenges, and then we'll talk about enforcement. In businesses, like you rightly mentioned, you have the issue of kickbacks. It's a widely adopted thing in Nigeria for people to undergo what's called arbitraging of business resources. For example, you go to source for certain materials for your company, and at the point where you're sourcing these things, the person you are buying the things from is asking you how much I could put on top. You know, and so they already know that, you know, you should have your own profit from that, and that's called business arbitraging. But because of this now, people have trust issues doing business with Nigerians because of these practices that have eaten deep into our fabric, and it's almost now a culture. And then you look at also sexual harassment, which is almost institutionalized because you know, you have institutions where people see nothing wrong in exchanging sexual favors for more favorable work practices, and bosses do this thing because they know that they will never be prosecuted. Everyone gets away with it, you know. But these things eat deep. People will have issues with the system. Will I be promoted on merit? Will I be accepted on merit? These are really deep issues. There's a saying that goes, the absence of consequence breeds impunity. And most of the time, there are no consequences, and law enforcement has been totally silent. You know, and a lot more can be done, but we have to work on enforcing these things. Go into companies, let them be, even this whistleblower policy that the EFCC is using, let there be structures within companies whereby someone can report a case and be confident that they will get justice. Otherwise, these things keep on going. Talk about nepotism. In other civilizations, if it is proven that you gave somebody a job because they are related to you, you will lose your own job. That does not exist in Nigeria, at least on a wide scale. So these things need to be actively policed.
It's now, sometimes it could even be a question of survival. Because if, for instance, you've been trying to get this business and they're making it clear to you that the reason you're not getting the business is because you haven't committed to an agreement, in quotes, an agreement in the dark where you're giving me, who's giving you the business, 10% of the profits. How do I get ahead in this kind of situation? Do I walk away and look for other businesses that will deal with me on face value? You know, essentially, look, whatever we sign is what you get. Or do I then compromise in order to get to where I'm going? Because that's usually always the challenge. It's an ethical challenge, but also a moral challenge, because you're looking at it that, look, if I'm going to survive, I have to do this. Do I have to?
Well, you know, that's a personal moral crisis that a lot of people have to go through. And it will be easy to say walk away. You know, I've had challenges with that coming up myself, and I've had to walk away from quite a few. But people come from different backgrounds, and people basically make decisions based on the options in front of them. So if the option there is like, you know what, kick back 10% and you can get ahead, that is very difficult to walk away from. And we cannot democratize morality.
I like that.
That is why we have a government. That is why we have laws. We have a judiciary. We have a legislature. That's why we have laws put in place to ensure that the fabric of society is governed by these laws. And then that's why we have law enforcement. Otherwise, if you leave these things to human beings, we will naturally take the path of least resistance. Right? So this all still comes down to enforcement. I think we have laws. If we look into our constitution, I'm sure there are lots of laws that govern business practices in Nigeria, but almost no one enforces them, and that's what we need to hammer on.
All right. John Obidi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hopefully, you come and talk more to us about these ethical issues, because it's really wide, and it's a big challenge, especially for entrepreneurs. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We have to get a move on now, and something on a lighter note. How about some music? Hey, Titi.
Okay, well, it's not Titi, it's MM. It's time to bring you some music to add some ginger to your Monday morning. Hello.
I'm cool.
All right. So, Nigerian singer Victor Swagiz is here to thrill us with one of his hit singles. Okay, so Victor, I'll be with you shortly.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Take it away.
Oh yeah, Victor Swag. Baby body, you got the sense of agitation. Oh yeah. I'm losing my mind. Oh, because she bad. Baby girl, you bad. I'm losing my mind. Baby girl, you bad. Baby like you bad. Baby girl, you bad.
I can't sleep without you. Since you are on my mind, I think about you all the time. What else can I do to hurry my life? I can't do without you. Since I met you, oh yeah. Follow me, go to my paradise. I got so much money in my paradise. Oh, love you till that kingdom come. So many girls want to marry me. Oh, no big carry me. I don't go run away. Please, baby, marry me.
Baby, marry me. I no go run away for you. You go marry me. Oh yeah. I'm losing my mind. Oh, because she bad. Baby girl, you bad. I'm losing my mind. Baby girl, you bad. Baby like you bad. Baby girl, you bad.
Now your love go make me to stay. Ginger me, oh baby, ginger me. For your love, I've closed my bank account. Ginger me, baby, ginger me. Say I got a Gucci come for you, brother, all for you. All my money, all for you. Ginger me, Maserati is not enough for you. Range Rover's not for you. Private jet, all for you. Ginger me,
Oh yeah. I'm losing my mind. Oh, because she bad. Baby girl, you bad. Ginger queen. I'm losing my mind. Baby girl, you bad. Baby like you bad. Baby girl, you bad.
please.
Ginger queen.
Ginger queen.
Girl, you see, I'm losing my mind.
I don't understand though. This Monday morning, you and this your ginger queen coming to, you know, serenade us this morning. But it's really nice.
Okay.
So what? Tell me, is there like a story behind that song?
Wow. There's a lady that I love so much, the way they get out. I love the way she moves.
Wow,
and the way she
interesting
walks.
stuff. So it's for real?
Yes, of
So
course.
you actually sang the song for her?
Yes, yes.
Did you write the song?
Yes, I actually write the songs. And me and my manager in the studio, St. Clair, we prepare for the songs to make it good.
Wow,
This way, you
interesting.
understand?
So did you sing it to her? How did it feel? Was she serenaded?
When she hear the song, she feel like, wow, you go and sing for me with my name. I said, no problem, it's because
I
of
wish
the
someone
love.
would sing for me.
Don't worry, I'm
That's
going
so
to
nice.
do that for you.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, so Victor Swagiz. Yeah, this is your first song, right? And you're not signed with any record label yet.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so if you were to be signed to any record label in Nigeria, which would it be?
Well, I have so many record labels that I like, but I would prefer to be under more its record than Jazzy.
Maven's Records.
Yes,
Why?
because
Why Maven's?
Well, Maven's is mature enough in Nigeria, not like any other music artist that they don't really do well, we don't know them. But I don't mind if I have to sign under Maven's Record than Jazzy. I would like.
Well, because you're an R&B singer, I would think that you would like to be signed under the Banky W record label, because Banky W is also an R&B singer.
Wow. Yes, of course, but I can also rap, so I can fix.
Oh, you can rap?
Yeah,
okay, do a little bit of rap for me. I'm in the mood to, you know, get
Okay.
my ginger on. Oh, yeah, now.
So, that means when I wake up in the morning,
Hey.
I think about my life.
Hey.
It's just like nothing to me. And now when I'm walking on the street, and I still make sure they're walking,
Hey.
I would like to move close to
You want me
the
to walk
table
with-
out of lover.
Okay.
What, anything you want, I'm going to do it to you.
Eh?
If you love me, you got to tell me that I love you. I promise to take you to the paradise.
Really nice. Thank you so much. So who's your inspirational rap artist?
Wow. I want to talk about rap in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to go for a rugged man, but now it's
Oh,
not singing
Rogedi
anymore.
Baba.
Yes, of
Why?
course.
What's it about Rogedi Baba that gets you? What's about his
Because
rap?
the kind of style fits in the foreign art.
Oh.
A little bit foreign,
Oh.
plus Nigeria. I have other rappers I like, but I prefer Rugged.
Rogedi Baba. Okay, so what should we expect from Victor Swagiz next?
Well, of course, we are preparing for another songs in studio, but already we have one, but we need to do the touch finishing so that we can produce
So
it.
what, is it like a rap song
No,
or an R&B
it's
song?
also an R&B song, just like this, you understand?
All right, thank you so much. Been quite an interesting conversation here with Victor Swagiz. Actor and producer Lillian Ama Aluko is seated with Yomi and Titi. Hi, Yoms and Titi.
Hey, MM.
I could see her getting down there.
Swagiz. I like it. All right, so Lillian Ama Aluko is a Nigerian movie producer, actor, and author. She she's a two-time vice president of the Association of Movie Producers of Nigeria.
She's been in the industry for well over 15 years and is, of course, very passionate about her work as a thespian. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
It's good to have you join us today.
Thank you. It's
Looking
good to
nice,
be here.
lovely. Thank you for waking up early on a public holiday.
I don't know how you guys do it every day.
Yeah.
Yes, this is every day.
We're getting used to it, though, right?
Yeah, we are.
It will be 1 year in July, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's really nice.
12 months.
So this is some sort of reunion for you guys.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
So tell us about it. Tell us about it. Tell us about what
Okay,
happened.
well, so I by chance happened to cast a role as her daughter in a show called Silver Lining. Or yeah, Silver Lining, or was it The Valley Between?
That was Valley
The Valley
Between.
Between.
Valley
I'm sorry.
Between.
Yes. I'm sorry.
It's
Valley
okay.
Between.
Yeah, The Valley Between. And she was always very helpful, always giving me advice, you know, taking me through my lines over and over again.
How could she have been your mother, though? You guys look like sisters. Like, I don't understand.
Yes, Mr.
I'm
Charming.
a funky mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she took a lot of crap from me as a daughter then as well. But, you know, the industry has, of course,
evolved. Yeah.
Over the years since then. And I know that you, of course, have a very interesting story about how you got into the industry in the first place.
Yes, that was very interesting, and I would say providence, because a friend of mine came to my house I'd always been saying I wanted to be an actress. The funny thing is, I wanted to be so many things growing up, and incidentally, I've been all of them except one.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes. So when I was, I think about 5 or 6, I'm not sure, my parents took us to go see a movie. We were living in Freetown, Sierra Leone then, and the movie was The Sound of Music.
Oh, wow.
I fell in love with those children, and I wanted to be them, okay? So fast forward, many years later, Nollywood was just starting, and I was watching Living in Bondage. I kept saying, I want to do this, I want to do this. And until this day, a friend came to my house, and he had some newspapers. So we're chatting, and he left the newspapers behind. I was going through them, and I saw RMD is auditioning for his own movie. I looked at it, and the address was Towing Street, and my house was off of Baby. I said, oh, this is close. I'm going for this audition. My sister said, you better go. You keep making noise in this house. You better go. So I went for that audition, and after the audition, I was offered a role.
Oh, wow.
Wow, wow.
And then we did a couple of rehearsals, and then we had a break. RMD lost his wife, and we had to have a break. So when we came back, the director had changed. It was now Tade Ogidon. And the first thing he said was, I'm sorry, I don't work with a cast chosen by anyone else.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to have to recast. He called everybody, asked us what roles we'd been offered, and then told us what to go and prep for. I got home, I said to my sister, you see, this small role they've given me, now they want to take it away. She said, why are you so negative? Try. I said, they want to remove me. See, they gave me small role. Now he has gone to give me a major role. It's an excuse to remove me. Anyway, I prepped like I'd never done before. When I went for that audition, I knew almost everybody's lines, not just mine. When it got to my turn, they said, are you ready? I said, yes. He said, do you remember this scene? And it mentioned it was a scene between the pastor and his wife, and he just says one line and then she goes off. You know. So I said, yes, I do. Then Richard said, ready when you are. I took a deep breath and I said, I'm ready. And then he gave me the cue, and I just started. And incidentally, that was a very sad scene because she was leaving her husband. She'd found out he was unfaithful and all of that. So once he said, but Alero, I didn't get her pregnant. That was his line, you know, and then I just went off. But you were sleeping with that little girl, Voki. How could you be so cruel to her parents after all they had done for us? And on and on and on. And when I started, I think it was fear that I wasn't going to get it and all of that. I just started crying. And it fell in so beautifully, you know.
Wow.
So I got it.
Wow.
And that role won me 2 awards.
Wow.
Amazing.
So I say thank you to Richard and Uncle Taddy.
Yeah. We're going to see a clip from one of your films now. I'm not sure which one it is, but if you guys are ready, you can play it now.
Just one of my new converts.
Is that why the person refused to talk when I answered the phone?
Come on, Alera, how can you talk like that? If somebody calls me on the phone and you pick it up and there's no answer on the phone, on the other side, it only means one thing, that the phone is dead.
Twice in a row, Emweje Voki. Then how come your convert was asking where you were earlier on? Look, Foki, don't underrate my intelligence, okay? Be very careful, man of God. These days you come home late and tired, and you barely have time to eat before falling asleep.
Hello, Voki, my darling.
Hello?
How come you abandoned your phone all evening, you naughty, naughty man?
John? Yeah, John?
Hey, this ain't no John. This is Tootsie.
I know, John. I can't talk to you right now. I'm in the middle of a very important meeting. All right, look, I'll call you back. Okay. All right, stay blessed. Bye.
Look, Pocky, you need to be careful. Very careful. There have been embarrassing whispers here and there, and I have my ears to the ground. Ada is now perfectly all right. I don't wonder why she comes to my house every morning, keeps your phone busy all day. Look, much as we promised to keep our doors open to members of the church, this Ada girl has gotten her healing, but she's obviously looking for more. And she's beginning to get on my nerves.
Alero, there's no need to get all worked up about this. I said I'll handle it.
You better.
That's from a movie that's fast becoming a classic.
Yes,
Out of Bounds.
Out of Bounds.
Yes.
Really good.
That's
really
the
good.
movie. That was my very first.
Your very first
And
movie.
you can imagine.
It
You-
didn't
but-
look like you were just acting for the first time.
I like the fact that you call yourself a thespian because you had done some acting in secondary school.
Yes.
So that sort of set the stage for getting into character and all of that. Even though you hadn't been in front of the TV cameras before, you already sort of had that background that helped you along.
I live in my head. I'm always acting. Let me put it that way. So it's actually quite easy to take up another character. Life can get very serious, so I like to do different things. I'm Gemini.
Okay.
I like to be this today, that tomorrow, so this job just works.
Okay, but you've also delved into production. You're a producer as well. So this is a whole new ball game. This is administrative. This is
stress.
Yes, this is
That's what it is.
marketing and so much more. How are you able to manage all that?
Okay. I've done a whole lot of stuff in my life. I was an air hostess.
Wow, really?
I worked in the courier industry. I worked several years in banking. And a lot
I think you had a role at Z Mirage one time.
I'm the CEO of Z Mirage currently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
You're wearing so many caps there, and it feels like you chose this as you chose acting as like a foundation for most of them.
I did. I was in the bank for many years, and in 2005, I was head of private banking in one of the big banks.
Okay.
And I just got up one day and said, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Nobody could understand. The money is good, you have a serious job, as they put it. But I said, no, I want to live. I don't just want to exist, I want to live. So I turned in my resignation. I spoke to my executive director, and she was very helpful. She actually enjoyed watching movies. At that time, I was in doctor's quarters.
Okay.
So every Monday, she would tell me, okay, because they used to stay in doctor's quarters on Sunday. She would say, okay, let's talk about what happened yesterday and stuff like that. So when I said to her, Ma, I want to leave. She said, why? I said, I want to do that. She said, but you're doing it. Do you think, we know you're doing it, we're not disturbing you. And I said, if I want to go any further in that, something has to give. I don't want to take your money and not give 110%.
Wow, wow, wow.
So they were very kind. My MD spoke to me and said, if you want to come back, the door is open. And I've never wanted to go back.
Wow, amazing.
A very powerful
You know,
story there. And
it is.
it's really, really amazing to have you on the show today. And would love to have you back one of these days. I was hoping we could do much more, but we have to wrap up on the show
Yeah,
today.
we do have to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. All right.
Thank you.
It's been a great show. We are rounding off now. Big thank you to our friends at Homely NG for the kitchen accessories.
And of course, a big shout out to Fola at Fola's Place for styling our hair. And of course, we're gonna be right here again tomorrow morning from 7 a.m. for another edition
of Wake Up Nigeria.
Yes, indeed.
Say bye-bye.
Take care. You can wave. You can wave.
I think we're
over
there.
Bye, MM. Oh, dear me.